Good morning. Oop, we're at the end of the song. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Alright, so I kinda mixed up two things. I wanted to add some extra information. I was like, oh well, it's good opportunity to revise our data formats. I'm wondering if I can do a patch commit on this. Actually, that would be the first part of that would be actually on the Rails side. So do we end up doing anything in controller? Is your data server? Yeah, we did do something in controller. Okay, JSON plain. So I could just flip that back, and then I might be able to diff commit that stuff. Or I guess just not commit this. And then I think I also want to see about having this check the data type and return the appropriate one. So as JSON stays as is, and then I probably just, well, I was flipping some of this stuff back and forth. And we change this to response JSON as text. And then, yeah, you got a little bit of stuff. And that should make you work again. With some extra fields, which we're not decoding. On the Elm side, whoops, we had done more. Okay, so new test, modified parser. So we could kind of just stash that. How do I stash all but one file? Git ignore. There's patch. Interactively select hunks. Which I guess you would just not select the. You could do that and not select the is that for push patch? The question is, stash this hunk. Gosh, that's notes. So, no. No. Then parser. Is that all? And a brand new file which you can kind of ignore. Okay, so now we can change you to use this data. And that will be a cleanish break. Well, I guess the thing is that I'm going to have to add a JSON parser for this, and then we won't end up using it. But it will make a cleaner separation of features. So we had in our decoder. So I guess we're actually doing something a little bit different here. For a bit, we are Server population data in two senses. Yeah, so this is soft population, which was itself a separate parse because we only cared about certain fields. Oh, but it was just death time and birth time, and we were making implications from that. Oh, but we're getting, that was converting it to +1, -1. We just convert this into parse out the right field. I'm still concerned that well, let's think about this. When we change transport formats, so that was JSON. So as long as you did the, like JavaScript parse JSON, we have a JSON value we could pass over to JavaScript. It could just use it. So I guess there's a CPU efficiency argument there. And we still haven't proved if the alternate format actually makes sense. Well, if the alternate format doesn't make sense, then this is going to be the way to do this. So, okay, so map to list.append. List.append. Where's our... Oh, you were producing this pair out of a single field. So each of these tuples is now kind of a map to, or maybe time. Of a time and a population. Well, you're just tuple.pair now. Population. Int. This, however, gets a little bit more complicated. I guess this would be like a... map to of a maybe.map to of a tuple.pair. Oh, I was producing a list element that contained a pair. Oh, because the result of this... Actually, you're a single maybe, and so then we deal with the list stuff. Okay, okay, no, we need one of you, and we need the maybe, and then the map. Yeah, those are slightly different in how they play out. Death population. All right, now this thing produces a maybe. So we still kind of have our list. Well, this is the map step, and then okay, and then that takes care of all. Well, I could just do a case there. That would still be the map 2 pair. And then, well, you'd either do a maybe map or you would do a two-stage case, which is only going to do the two just as an interesting thing. So that will produce the same type. It will just get used differently. A list of functions. Is that singleton out, what I think? Well, let's take this stuff out. Because that should tell me that it's not a list where it needs to be. This map2 call produces POSIX int, but map2, which one? Needs the second argument to be a decoder list of A. Yeah, singleton. All right, can we... Well, we have to do a timestamp. Oh, actually, you have to be a list. I got 4 instead. Okay, still complaining about the first one. Okay, so it is indeed the type of this thing that is wrong. Well, okay, we know that because it wasn't a list. So the type of this thing is okay. Has to be a list of something, even though we have the type declared up here. It doesn't seem to know of what. Argument to map 2. The argument is I need a to B to value. Oh, right. We can't do this with 2 argument things. So either I have to apply another map to it, or we just have to do it manually. That's going to mean this is going to have the same problem. Maybe we actually do just deal with the list part of it differently. So that's going to give me a maybe instead of a list. Yeah, maybe versus list. And we do have to remove the maybe from here somewhere. Actually, and it's specifically inside of the, like this parenthesis. So a maybe map 2 is definitely going to produce a maybe. It's not going to pipeline because it's a 2 argument. I can't just do it inside of here because it ends up being a maybe. Do I just do the 2-element case? So we're going to get 2 arguments. We need to produce 1 argument. We could do that. Because I sometimes that back a little bit. That's that map 2. It's applied to these things. POSIX, because we didn't change the timestamp, the type of this. All right. Now we actually need to do a lot less work on the downside. So this is actually no longer soft population. I guess I could have left the other function here and for a little bit. So when we use this, we run it through here, which is part of model. All right, so first event, time, last birth, last event, cumulative sum. That's just doing the total, so we just kind of drop this, I think. Oop. What? Are you also doing the sort? Can I resample this a bit smaller to see what's going on? Oh my god, that's all over the place. Yeah, so it's like we're no longer sorted. Yeah, okay, so this had the sort in it. I mean, I guess like that kind of gave you a sense of population range, but... And now we no longer need to cut out the beginning. Where's our 1 hour? We just don't need to do... Okay, that's event range. But we went to min. Yeah, we just don't need to do this. And population range is actually also going to get updated to first event and last event. So it's actually not going to be different than event range. What's a nice little data structure? So you're apparently using a separate cutoff than population range. Okay, that goes up to there. What are you doing? Population, timeline hover, timeline move, timeline population is in range, population range. How we have data. Or is the head of this list not what I think it is? Okay, this is before we sort. Are we possibly getting things in different order now? Well, technically we're using resample, but it should be similar here. Oh, what are we just playing? Because this is going to be a lot smaller. Okay, 880. So the first event here, 1632643. First event, is that the last here? 16327, so it's not quite that. I don't know if it's a birth or a death. Well, it's gonna be one of the ends of this, right? So no death. One, 6, 3, 2. So you're actually the end here, but we tried to reverse this. You did have a death time that was out there. So I guess we got the trailing tail of death. Oh. Well, no, because these are actual population samples at that death, regardless of whether... so that would reflect any bursts that were in there in the meantime. If we don't have the actual points for them. How are we... Why is first event not... Are we doing anything with this? Are we doing anything with this? We're using max, we're not using max. All right, well, what is this nonsense? That's the first thing, all right. 1, 6, 3, 2, 6, 4, 4, 5, 8, 8. Does that have any bearing on this? Okay, so that's the... We're actually producing the death second. And then we're reversing the list, so it ends up as the... Ugh. Okay, so that appears like 4 range. All right, so map. We don't add the new file. Debug. And I guess we could clean some stuff up. Cumulative sum is a cute little routine, but we don't actually need it anymore. So we don't need min and max, and the population range is a little bit vestigial. Actually, last event we use. That can actually get a lot simpler too. All right, last event is... Oh, because these used to be deltas. I was using that to detect last birth. But this is always just T, so... And... that was a number. It's a foldal, so we do have to have our intermediate state. So this is our accumulator. Which actually we don't care about the accumulator during this process. We're always just going to return. Yeah. We're always going to return that. This is on the raw data, which we were checking for births, which did filter it down. All right, well, first is the birth, if there's a death. That should actually... Could it end with a birth, but before that was a death that actually happened later? We searched by births, but we might have had information on the previous person's death. So we're going to have to keep sorted as an intermediate thing anyway. Oh. List POSIX int. Oh, right. We still have to consider you are a T and a don't care. Right. This use data. Oh, our last event was only doing births. We no longer have information about whether or not it was a birth. Let's start returning triples. So that could kind of set our range. It'll set our range differently. And the issue we had with this is that the user would select a range, and then the range of the data would come back, and the deaths would extend it out and be not what the user selected. It's kind of hard to tell. Well, okay, so we know that this is 1724 something. Wait, but is that my selection or yeah, okay. Okay, 2004. 2101. We have lost the information on what's a birth and what's a death. We could just ignore death population. I guess that wouldn't work on low pop very well because we just wouldn't get any more data samples. I guess I have to return a triple. I was gonna mess up all my types. So that actually kind of undoes a bunch of this stuff. So we are going to have to filter this. I don't know if we actually need... Well, you would go to... It was min and max was based on last birth. But that is not actually a delta anymore. Yeah. Is this just true false? We could have a custom type for it. We don't care how many inputs there are. Oh, except it's not just a tuple pair then, is it? All right. However, after a certain point in the processing, we don't care about that anymore. It's just data points. So this might be a syntax error. Yep. Remote data.map. Population. This is going to be the signature of this. So then that's not going to work. Okay, so tuple first. It's not a tuple anymore. We probably don't have triple Yeah, it only does pairs. All right, delta, you're not delta, your population, which we don't care about here. And the birth is gonna be true. Type isn't gonna work. If kind x greater than 0, that was the birth case, so update the birth, else update both, and then population. But this is what we set it to, right? Even though we have events out there. Oh, these are comma syntax. You're in the wrong place. No, we're just basically parenthesis. And maybe another parenthesis. You were data. Are we doing... Yeah, this is over X, so we're just assembling them as is. Does this actually care about what type it resamples? Well, it cares that it's a list. Okay. Resample is generic enough. I don't want to put it into there. I don't think there's anything that will like do a transform and a sort at the same time. Oh, I guess we kind of did these spacing different, didn't we? Okay, hover, hover. Small time window. Oh, I didn't pay attention. Small time window. 1342. 1440. This must be real bid timelines. Make timelines. Well, assessment of all population, right? Min time and max time. If range overlap, show it. So we have population range. We have event range. So what are we using to determine our timeline width? Well, not time mode. Okay, so nothing just does use the argument. Jump time. Set range for data. Pop.event range. Right. So this is like raw events. Yeah, it's like there's technically stuff after that. I was probably getting... Or do I need to reverse these? Because, yeah, that was... Oh, but I flipped my birth-death order, so that maybe that messed it up? I hadn't been considering that before. And this is unsorted data. But we don't want last event. Because last event's going to include the death. $10.58. 11. Actually, reload. $14.28. $15.26. Alright, we decoded these as births true. Right. Birth time true. You're not actually a pair. Pop dot event range. Last birth. If it's a birth, then we update both of them, else we maintain the birth from last time. It is last birth, last event. This is not sorted data. We're currently sorting it on that. So it might be something weird about the order. That these actually aren't, because it's in by default birth order. I guess I could do the time conversions and comparisons here rather than sorting the entire thing and then doing stuff. The sad thing is that, like, if I'm going forward in the list, everyone is going to be greater. Oh no, this is to be births only. Is this not what I think it is? All right, that's going to be very big. Let's try to get something a little smaller. Still obnoxious as heck. All right, so true, false, true, false, true, false. Okay, that's at your death, so that's going to be some time drift. 32, 42, 772. True, false, true, false, true, false. We got the birth, so there's no... There's got to be some births only in here somewhere, right? $30, 66504, 6508, 163220, 163220, 2066, 2042. So these are, well, the beginning is earlier. They happen to line up that these are all births. And it does seem to be in numerical order. Am I not querying for the times I think I'm querying for? Am I not returning the times I think I'm returning? All right, so if we press... What's the button? Not perform live search. Select show. That does fetch data for time. We have model.time range, so we're going to do this with exactly the values that we said there. You're not going to do any significant translation. Start time. I guess we've been looking at end time. I don't seem to be extending my ranges there. All right, so let's get the, so we've got them, we've kind of got them here. Can we go up a step? See what the actual timestamp values are. Oh yeah, predetermined range. Don't we do something with this? If range source equals set range, And range source is what we get back from the data layer query. Okay, that's the auto query. Source predetermined range. So start 322643 163 26431 and 272935. 2927 272927 272935 272929. Those are actually birth. There's a 35. So it's probably, yeah, there's some of the other births. It would have to be somebody who had a longer life. Do 728. Oh wait, no, the numbers were always going up. 22, 14, 36. 22, 15, 29. Mm. Pop dot event range. Is this what we're actually doing? Oh, this is supposed to be predetermined, so we shouldn't even be doing this. Right? Well, your source data range, yep, population range. Oh, that has all the data. Source predetermined. Yes, we don't even go through here, so what we return there doesn't matter. So something else is mucking up our timeline range. Time selection for time? Time selection around. Yeah. What the heck do we copy? I mean, some of these seem extremely... You seem extremely impossible. We should be long past these. We should be past that. That's just the entire model. What are you doing to me? Print all the things. Data range. Don't we just not ask Leaflet for that? Add update, set range for data. Oh, you're... Did I actually... Do I need to have a way to ignore that? I thought I'd already fixed this. Okay, what is it? Data range. And that's just if min and max. So did I just forget about this when I was moving all the other stuff around? So this, oh, maybe I needed to pass. Is that in a place we can do that? Leaflet.data layer. Oh, I switched to Terminix myself. I never actually told you not to send it to me. Lineage lives. Fine. Okay, only happens from there. But you've got the min and the max in context, so we kind of have to pass it down. Lives, but there's a lives.data. Right, because that was like the entire response. So this is a thing we're going to end up touching again very soon. Oh. I guess there could be a type there to just get translated into a string at the JavaScript layer. But I could move that up to Leaflet and have them talk about it in that way. I guess there's no point in asking for it. I mean, there's not going to be an in a max, so. What are you? Set server update. Oh, you're a nothing. Yeah, so we've got two instances where there's no data layer and then there's mismatched server ID. I don't know if that's worth pulling out though. And we have an error somewhere. Oh, I have to encode you because you used to be a value. We're putting out a lot of stuff right now. I didn't pay attention. 2254. We didn't change it. How about that? Actually, am I able to always determine the range? I might need to switch to doing that. So you're not setting anything. Oh, population not requested. So if we're getting it from there. We would basically need to do no decoding on that. Or we'd do it differently. Anyway, that was more trouble than we expected. Not that. Not that. Event debug. It's log.debug. All right, all things we were kind of touching. Seems fine. All right, so our little, okay, so that's definitely Elm. I guess I could stash the other stuff to kind of keep things comparable. Stash this hunk. No. I need to split this up. It's a big hunk. Split. Stash, no. Stash, yes. Stash, no. No. Yes. Okay, that's looking good. And population data to life results. All right, and we already stashed this, right? Okay, so we got our notes, which we kind of did this. Population over server crashes. I guess I haven't tried to actually look at what happens if we do crazy queries now. And I think I was just trying to select a bunch and then we got what we got. Yeah, so it only goes up so far. But that doesn't go into crazy levels. I'm actually kind of surprised how far back we did get on that. So now this is almost back to its own feature. You know, it's going to touch this a lot. Is what we're working on now. So this is also server work, but we're done with you. Oh, it's not soft population anymore. And let's just stick to code.population. This might change. When we go to the other data format, because I don't know if it's going to make sense to run a parse on this twice. I guess I could set that up to be an optional query parameter because it's going to be actually useless in certain other queries. And I think I've already kind of taken care of that. Well, no, this is actual samples at timestamps. It just won't be very dense. All right. So I should probably set the server up to handle both, just for convenience, while it's still requesting JSON. So that'll break you. Oh, did the server not realize that files had changed because they got old timestamps? Oh, no, I made actual changes to the server, which we just want to... We just want to do that differently. So point presenter needs to have ways to... So we have a individual point as JSON as text. We have wrap got changed, so this is going to have to be like wrap JSON wrap text, and Rails calls it plain. And then we had response plain, so we're going to have this be response JSON. And then your wrap JSON and your wrap plain. In theory, I could do a helper method for this. It's one line. Lives controller, so this should still work. It could be framed a little bit better. Oh. Would different data types get cached together? Let's see. So I don't know what the current system is. 'Cause I know there used to be a thing to format. Rails MIME types. I want more like what are the current guides? Motion controller overview, routing. It could be either. We don't have a built-in search here. JSON parameters, routing parameters, XML and JSON. To add the PDF MIME type to Rails. Text is probably already in there. Okay, respond to format is still the thing. So format HTML is probably like just default path. So if it's plain here, is it plain there? Bad stack. Okay, so that was actually an error. Do you mean, ooh. Undefined method respond to. Do I have this in like API controller mode so it doesn't have this? Because, you know, API is just going to be JSON. Duh. Custom MIME type. Rails 5 to handle file uploads. And that would be a MIME type of the incoming request. What are we currently sending? We're probably not sending a request at all. Request headers, accept encoding, accept star. I don't know. Actually, well, there's always arguments. I don't know if you can actually do that with HTTP. Where's expect? Well, it's got to be a generic thing for headers, right? So I guess that's another side of it. But okay, so respond to is probably a module that's not in an API application. Rendering file with MIME type. Multiple accept headers. It's not Rails. Is this actually a routing thing? Okay, so text is one of them as acceptable response types. But this is probably for the not for the API setup. Set content type. Render file content type, content type. File name equals, okay, get the extension from it. So assuming that's a parameter to this somehow. All right, so we are sending just lives. So would this even recognize an index extension? on the routing side. All right, so we're back to, I forget what I started at. Changing transport formats. Oh, you were not base URL lives. Okay, so you can send that. Rails isn't gonna like it because it's just broken right now. Oh no, processing lives controller as JSON. I need to reset my. I don't know if that was from before or not. Okay, yep, unknown params format. So some part of Rails turned this into format. And then called it an unknown param so it never got to the controller. You're just a resource. I don't really think you. I don't know if you really help. You may need to call format. Okay, so that's kind of routing. HTTP accept. Subdomain is not set. API, okay, API only applications. The available control side of params. So it's recognizing format, using it for routing, and saying, I don't know why it's. Maybe API by default only accepts JSON. Data type, content type. So I guess the easy way out is just have a standard param that's just like format. Now format, using the word format might still be a Railsism, or Rails might try to recognize that. Oh wait, this is the params. That's probably going to get passed to life search, actually. And that might tell me that, hey, you gave me a parameter I don't know. I should be, where'd I put this? Oh, no, we got to respond to. Vim map routes. All right, so respond to module isn't in here, so we just say if params JSON or format. I guess we need to look at what this looks like if it's not JSON. Actually, can I just... Okay, so it didn't complain about an unknown parameter. Nil. Oh, right, because this was a captured query. Incorrect syntax. Unknown parameters. So we can search.unknown parameters. Life search. This is really just to check if we put in something that we can't handle. And then there's like controller action. Okay, so that returns data. That returns that. So the extension thing doesn't work. The file extension style formatting. Lives controller, and now we can just say oh, what we don't get is accept negotiation. Couldn't find the template for this format. Rails MIME type parser. Yeah, you didn't work. Access to the HTTP headers from the environment. So is this just like p headers? Empty. Maybe this is the middleware that's not in there? Is it in env? Env doesn't exist. I guess that you have to get that from somewhere. So this is like, if you have this hash, then this parses it nicely for you. Change the accept header. So what is this sending? You're sending a specific set of accept headers. Because what this view can parse. Okay, well, yeah, so env. Empty hash. Reading header data. Request.headers. That looks like some stuff. Now, that's okay, where do we dock? Where's the Rails? Request? Action dispatch request? Post authorization body. Do you have a format thing? Media type. Well, is that the media type of the request? Or the media type provided in? It is blank. It was a GET request, so I get that makes sense. Can we tell what the syntax of... Wait. Oh, that's going to be the params for format JSON. Okay, Rails puts a lot of stuff in the headers. Controller action format, request method get. The headers are in the headers? I guess because it's an object. Maybe I wonder if it supports like a 2-hash method to get rid of some of this junk. Oh my god. No, that's not any better. I just want the actual headers, man. All right, how about, do you support keys? Oh, no. So headers is an object. Doesn't tell me what it returns. There was like an action dispatch headers object we came up with earlier. That must be under some subset of things. Sub namespace. HTTP headers. All right, so add each and fetch. You can ask if it is a key. You can do it from a hash. Well, this is actually just a straight up header. So the official header is accept. That's data. Okay. We have to do that ourselves, but okay. So star is in there. So this doesn't do actual negotiation. If we just look at it. Negotiation. Again, I guess we're requesting. We really want a specific format. Some common modules you might want to add. Action controller MIME response. Is that current? Oop. Can we just have this one, please? Rails on rack, MIME. No, we looked at this before. Oh, is that still a thing? I thought there was something in here that was about, it was like, here's your middleware stack. So a default stack doesn't seem to have anything about. I mean, this is an API application, so we already know it doesn't. Static executor, local cache. Well, I guess if it fails, we know that that's the fact that none of this is action controller makes me suspect it's a little old. Session dispatch, so it would be under M. MIME responds. All right. Are we already doing any middleware stuff? API only. Inspecting, configuring, config.middleware, the bottom of the stack. I don't know where you would normally be. Does that normally happen in controllers under routes? About the dependent modules. Okay, so these are actually controller modules. So maybe we actually need to include that in the controller? Uh, is that import? It's been a while. Include. All right, we shut down the server to get this. Okay, that does run. Okay, so that's the header. That's that. Do we have response to now? I just want to see if this method exists. Unknown format. Not configured to send capture environment development. Right. We didn't actually do the block here. Okay, so MIME type is still blank. So would you be, I mean, it's the same result, but. Okay, so text is the method. Just because it was plain on the other one. Yeah, it doesn't know that name. So plain. Of course, now it's looking like text again. Will it that parameter, well, here we go. Oh, this isn't the one with the parameter in it. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so that returned JSON to me. Oh, this was the lives.json one. Oops. Okay, so that is one way to do it. Might be a little bit more proper to use content negotiation or accept header. And unknown format. How do we do a default? Format.any. And I guess the thing is just unknown format. It did used to just produce JSON. Oh. But it doesn't provide the response headers that way that make this thing interpreted as JSON. Because we include MIME response. Can we have, oop. Okay, no, it's still, or is it this window that has decided it's this format? Localhost servers? Or no, actually this server is, what? 5,000. You still shouldn't do a search for that, I'm sorry. That was clearly a host port. Yep. But it's a different controller. Yeah, so we've actually, having that in there has changed how it responds. I mean, I guess the actual response is there. It's just if you were actually looking at the content type, you wouldn't get anything fancy. Unknown format. And, oh, I can't send an accept header from here. Even though this probably has accept something. But it doesn't list one of the, well, it's got star, but it's like, okay, what format? Oh, there's a thing I saw where you actually have to specify the content type. So we could maybe do this. We just have to say content type application JSON. Okay, and then you recognize that. Okay. So then your content type, text, is it text plain? Text HTML. I think it's text plain. Okay, and you recognize that as text plain, so that's all good. But with MIME responds, it doesn't figure it out from this part. All right, so on the other end, oh, I might need to do a much fancier HTTP request, though. Because this is just a get right now. Do you recognize format? Is that a built-in thing? Okay, well, it doesn't hurt it. Okay, it does recognize that. So we can definitely test that, which will just be an error. And it certainly is an easier way to do it. So in order to send custom headers, I would have to do a request. URL with parameters, expect you're doing a put. What is the equivalent? Okay, there's an empty body. Expect timeout tracker, method, headers. URL expect. All right, method equals get headers. We have to return to body equals http dot empty body. Timeout equals nothing. I guess I could do an HTTP wrapper method. That was like fetch text or something. And then headers, list headers. So only have one item. HTTP dot header. Quick test of this. Huh? This must not be the correct format. application JSON, APPLICATION. So I guess this actually must be the header itself that's messed up. It doesn't text HTML. There's a syntax for multiples, but we only have one. Well, I guess we never really tested if, is it a different middleware that uses that than the MIME response? It's a star. Missing template. Well, yeah, we saw that one. That's HTTP, different HTTP accept. Not even in there. That's what we're searching for. Moved or depreciated. Okay. So it doesn't use the accept header? And this is MIME response. So you're not going to send the header. Now, we said any. Oh, because we didn't remove the parameter, so I guess that wins. Oh wait, that's so probably has to recompile. All right, application JSON. And you don't like it. Okay. This might be a case where we want to maintain two functions. We already broke this one a lot. As an interim step, because you were a lot simpler. It was just a get. All right, while we work on you. All right, so your expect has to change. Parse blah, 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 blah. Expect string. So we do have this data layer. So the parse thing, what tagger? Parse lives? Result parser parse. Oh, have I unstashed you yet? I have not. And I haven't dealt with the split between lives and population yet. Right, because we got a JSON value and dealt with it twice. I'm probably not going to want to run a parser twice. I might need an entirely different response method to kind of maintain parallel paths, if I want to maintain parallel paths for a little bit. All right, HTTP error string data.object search index. This So that means our lives type would have to have the population data in it. We could potentially compress it back down later. Actually, that's the only parser we've done so far. But you are a type. This is effectively going to be a list. Just in the code of list data.life. To do things as we've been doing them. Right, we have to deal with errors. All right, data layer. We can't do anything with you yet. And we can't do anything with leaflet right now. We didn't update one of them. So data layer, data layer text, error. All right, so now fetch data layer. I guess we go swap the function, really. It didn't complain. I mean, we didn't get any data to show. We didn't get any timeline data to show. Data, life. Now, do I want to have two separate lives? Because if I'm going to have to get, it's like I'm going to kind of keep extra data in the life records. I guess the only times we have large amounts of data, we won't be keeping it in the model. And then if it's a search, it shouldn't be that big. I guess this, Oh, right. To eventually be useful to Leaflet, we have to pull out all the fields that it's going to use. Oh, okay. So this is good. This potentially narrows us. And this is the parser. So we can have a wider record here. Oh, for this to work, with this, we have to maintain compatibility. So the record went like this. Oh, this function has to be in data source order. And then this record can, well, I guess I was constructing the record in the same way. All right, so the data source order, oh, well, actually, we've got it here. We just toss out player count and player count. So this is coordinates. Let's see, so that was, and then this I think was in life order. Oh, you're, maybe? Did I maybe the whole data? Yep, I copied you. Birth, population, death, population. And that's not a maybe. Okay, so server life. Two, 2, 3, 8. Doesn't have anything to do with server life. Why am I in the view? Where did we use you? Oh, select matching life. We don't care about the times for that. And actually, Leaflet doesn't care about population. But I need a new data type for that. Oh, if this is life to data life. Actually, the things we use this for, I'm not sure if it's going to care about the extra fields. It's already keeping anything we use. Okay, so it runs, doesn't do anything useful. Yeah, so we have actually a different process for how we send this over. All right, so we have parsed the data. We are not yet using it for our population or for our map. Server life, focus life. Yeah, that's the only place we use you right now. Encode.life. So does that mean encode would still be a whole data encode? That's right. We were using the exact same format just because it was like, well, we're sending the value, so we use that format. Population values are actually useless there. So I could re-encode you. I could change encode life to not include population values. Wait. Encode isn't using those values, but it was defined in terms of data.life. Encode.lives is still a thing. And that's in terms of data.life. Select points. The lives I'm keeping around tend to have all the records that we need for the map, because if they go to the map, then we have that data. Does leaflet define... Oh, I've got a whole data. So we've got your life. Oh, true. We've already got a where do we apply it? We've already got a server life and a data life. Data. Oh, that's data. Oh, and then map UI life. Okay. Map UI life is already narrowed. So it's not going to have the population fields, and then we don't have an actual parser for that. We just pull these two fields and times out of that list. And the equivalent of this step. So that's doing the decode for population, which goes to triples. So that's still going to be a little bit of a map. And it's still going to have to kind of deal with some of the maybes. If I used the raw lives for the start of it, we'd have to be a little bit more specific about some of the event stuff. So first event, well, it'd be easier to look at births only that way. We can't have a death before a birth, so that's not an issue. And we could very easily separate last birth from last event. I guess you'd kind of have to like separately track last birth and... Oh, no, okay, yeah, that might be easier, but this would have to be from data.lives because that still has the stuff. So that's a total rewrite of that function, just about. Assuming they're in order, which we might have to check that. I haven't let how they parse out yet. Yeah, your birth time. And these are lives. So for this stuff, it's accumulator's the same, I think. These are lives, so we just have... I have to get like 4 fields from here, though. Because it's not the same time. This is only dealing with times. The deaths are maybes. Oh, so actually we don't care about these fields. It's pure times. Which we don't need the population data for. Well, no, we need it down here. Is the last entry. These are all going to be live, so they're all going to have births. We expect them to be in order. We haven't sorted yet. We sort the events later. I guess the last time represented in the final result might actually be easier to do here. We're using this a little bit differently. And this is where we can tell, well, we could get the last birth very easily. And then last event is supposed to be the last event. So we could just go from here. It's a shame to iterate twice. At least the second one will be a much smaller list. All right, so these are pairs. So we have T, don't care. Accumulator, don't care. We just we want the last T without actually like building a reverse. All right, and now, however, this has to deal with that messy process of we get 2 points from 1 point. So when we decoded, we did a whole bunch of one element lists and just did a flattener compact. List dot append. List dot and a reverse. So that was the two things we pulled out. You're going to map. This isn't a map. It could be a map and then a concat. Chicken cat map. I guess I could also use a kind of fold. All right, birth time, birth population, death time, death population. Way to do the least amount of list assembly. Can we call it just a map 2? We don't really want any maybes in the result. So a maybe map just gonna give me another maybe. It's the list of birth time, birth population, death time, death population. In all other cases, or we're missing either of those, it's just birth time, birth population. Expecting an error. Oh, wrong arrow. Map UI. Map UI. All right, so we were doing this. So you were doing a JSON decode. There's no JSON decode. Not exposed. Let's data.life remote. True. So where were we applying that in the other one? Okay, value. Remote data JSON. Okay, this was a wrapper that put us into that if it succeeded or failed. So this is giving us a result. I should almost be having that parse give me a remote data. Although, what is a remote data error of? It's an HTTP error, so this version does not account for other kinds of errors. Well, I did things that wrapped it up in some cases. So like we have our JSON helper, toString bad body failed. So I could have a parser pars. Now this depends on parser. We've already got a parse. Although it's going to look a lot like this. Parse lives. Oh, do you have to return a result? No, we're determining that, right? Decode JSON did. But this is saying what it is. Oh, well, you're getting the results of the HTTP. Yeah. So that's a result, and then blah, 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 blah. So that's all staying in result space. So I could have an equivalent of HTTP expect that turned it into remote data. Just give me a decoder and... Well, I ended up doing multiple decoders on that one, but... So it's going to get a result HTTP error string. We want to return a remote data of that. So result. This is mapping the parser back to bad body. Do we have a result to remote data? Because that's basically all that's happening here. We have a... Yeah, there's... You're getting a longer list, aren't you? All right, so the basic operations over the type. We have a to maybe. We have a from result. And maybe this ends up, we want a decoder version of this. Result, http.error of A to a remote data of A. Case result of okay. Data is a data. And a, it's like error is a failed error. So result dot and then parser run, that takes care of mapping it to an error type. And I guess this whole thing then goes into remote data dot from result. And let's go change a bunch of types. Error. Oh, error argument. Remote data. I guess data isn't going to be it's capital data. Argument is error string. Oh, I said these had to be the same. No, okay, that is. So the result is still in string type. Maybe this is getting applied at the wrong level. More parentheses. And that doesn't even pipeline, does it? Alright, thank you for the follow. Guys like watching me do dumbfounded stares? HTTP error string to result. And then call produces, but we should be fully inside of here. Oh, the and then call produces and result. It produces a function. I was using implicit argument here. All right, parse lives. Okay, and then that data layer text was doing a result. Now it can be a remote data. And I have to fix up U. So we're handling the OK and the error. And problem with this is that there are actually more states than that. So we can't just do the OK error thing here. Or it has to be like OK error other, even though the only possible results, as we just saw from our from, are in fact that we have data or have error. Maybe I need to not do that. Because there are only two results from here. But we have to, gosh. Yeah, put you back. I did undo this. It's a result http.error. And then I want to data layer text. I was doing a map on that, assuming it was already in that format. We got that format from doing the JSON decode, which did that implicit. This is, it's already been parsed. So this is like lives. I guess I could also result.map that. Before converting it. List data.life. Result HTTP error. Hello. Oh, we've already unresulted it. So it's really just data. And that was mapping the stuff inside of it. So it's... We're overcomplicated things. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, it helps if we apply arguments, huh? All right. So what might be working now is, and it isn't. Did we lose our query at some point? No, we didn't lose our query. The response is text. Well, what are we getting here? Okay, so it parsed okay. I must have messed up this function. Or, oh, did I not go back and fix up the range determination? Okay, so that's very, very big. Event range, population range. All right, so you're 33. Okay, they're at least different. 16327, 16326. That looks backwards. I might need a reverse somewhere. Two 729. And those are the same, which doesn't look good. So the question, well, this has been sorted, so it's not going to tell me what my source order was. I guess we really just have to look at the full thing and see if it's... Oh, God. These are the... we can get in just before we sort them. When it's not the whole thing, but it's... It's still unsorted. Okay, so 16327. We kind of care about this, but these should at least be... Oh, okay. So one of the things is that... Well, we haven't reversed this. My other thing, I had to do death first. So I don't know which of these are from the same life. No, I've just never spent a lot of time on the Microsoft stack. Maybe if I did, I'd look at it. I guess I tend towards web just because it's usable everywhere. I guess technically there's the portability for the .NET stuff. I still don't think of it that way. 2729. 272929. 272943. Yes, that's later. Yeah, I don't know which of these are births and which are deaths. So what we really want to know is, are the births in order? It's just that that's like, oh, we actually printed out the entire list, actually. It's just big and hard to read. So birth time, 272943. No death. So that's another birth. Well, actually, what's the order of these two births? 2729. Wait. 163 2729. Well, I was actually yeah, okay. So these came out reversed. What produces a list? It's probably the parser. Probably I'm just returning this in the other order. I don't know if I'm not specifying it or if that's just database order. Lives. Oh, did I? Maybe we get a free reverse out of this. Hey, that looks like a reasonable result. I guess I still don't know if it's correct, but it looks reasonable. Got our peak in the evening and in the morning. Bug.log. AppUI. Okay, so we've got that. Now the awkward bit is we used to just get a JSON value and just throw that over the wall to leaflet. Now that we're parsing it, we kind of need to turn it back into JSON for JavaScript. Well, actually, these are going to be server lives, right? We haven't actually done anything with them here. And I've already got ways to encode them. I just don't have methods that are well set up for that. We did have an encode.lives. Display results. So, data layer. I could use the same thing if I did the encode.lives on the other side. And maybe we shuffle that around later. Okay. Didn't make it, but we might also be missing some data fields that were only used in JavaScript. I guess we're actually are only listed in the data layer command. Okay, we got something. It's an array of a bunch of fields. We've gone through and augmented some of it. Oh, I'm in a by death reason. We've got assigned colors. Do we have... I don't know if we have the actual cause. So I like encoded that as transparent or something? And is that 0 alpha? Maybe. I'm actually supposed to have an unknown, but maybe unknown is an actual type. Now this is something I think I have not been pulling out in my parser at all, because I never needed it in the side before. So OHL data, we've had the server life, has never needed a death reason. What was the field called? Reason? Cause of death color. Okay, that's the key. Cause is all we were calling it. Maybe internally we want a better name than that, and then deal with that in the encoding side. Or cause of death. It's kind of nice to have it all be death stuff, though. And that's going to break a whole bunch of stuff. So the parser. So just to get it to go, we need to do death cause equals nothing. And then the decoder. Life. Wait, or was it death cause? Well, I've got this up, right? So we could just take this back to JSON. Yeah, it was just cause. And you are a maybe string. We're also using this in decode. Server life. Map UI. Oh, we don't use that when we do this. Currently. And so, yeah, so I could do a record without these since it's not using them. We might need to track that though. Okay, we're compilable. We are not parsing the actual data. Where is this in there? It's basically the last field, other than the optional name. 2 maybe is fabulous. And oh, we put in something here for it. We're kind of parsing it. We call it death reason here. So age may be string, death maybe float. Oops. Oh, did I reuse some names? Death cause, maybe float. Parser of string. Did I put this in the wrong spot? There's the name. It's definitely getting these mixed up somehow. Name equals, age equals, death cause equals. Oh, I probably age, name. Because it's like death age, we didn't call it death. Death reason. Okay. So we never were really testing this, I guess. Needs the argument to be a parser, but it is a life parser. Oh, a definite parser of string. I had a little thing I did for this. We can do the X. Okay. Did not make the round trip. Okay. Oh, the encoder has to add this back in. Lives, life. Cause, maybe string. Why did our encoder fail? Is our encoder extraordinarily slow? It was a while before we clicked on... Maybe I took out something else that was turning this on. Okay, so cause of death is there now, but that part didn't seem to be failing before to come up. Did we delete something else in the process of stripping this down? Data layer, model, data layer, population. add update. Set data range. Oh, you're not defaulting to... What did we did something to knock you out of this mode. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And just the default view. And we've still got that. It's possible that it's a little slower, but it's still practical for large numbers, for standard numbers of points. Because we do have to like parse it and then re-encode it as JSON. Maybe I should leave some of the JSON pathway stuff around in case it turns out that it ends up really bad for somebody. I'll save a lot of network though. All right, so is that everything? Well, we're still using JSON for anything else, any other life queries. So just have to have their pathways changed, but also shouldn't be as large. So fetch matching lives, fetch lineage. Lineages could get kind of large. Fetch recent lives is a variant of that query. You come back on matching lives. You come back on lineage lives. Okay, recent does come back on data layer, so that would be that wouldn't require a whole lot of new code. Although I don't know how often we actually hit this anymore. I guess if you just turn on the life layer without doing anything, it would. So mostly we're doing this stuff. I guess all of this is all pretty much grabbable out of source control. Okay, well, actually, data layer is still being called here. All right, are we passing anything different? JSON.code.value, data range server ID. You had a range parameter. Oh, yeah. Let's see. So I sort of need to knock you out of that mode. Do we do like that, maybe? No. Then, we would do that. Okay, and we get something. I guess we actually want to check. Yep, that's text. All right, so lives, data layer text. So fetch matching lives. Okay, that's a term. Fetch lineage. That's basically straight up data supply. Actually, you know, we do sort of map the matching live ones. Lineage lives. How much do we do with you? Not too much. We don't even do pop. Oh, I can actually use population from you now. It won't necessarily be full detail, but it'll be accurate for that family's history. Oh, data layer. I think. We don't use this anymore. Yes. Did that change? Oh, I can change your name now. Okay. Lineage lives. All right, so you're getting back a value. You're getting back a list of data.life. Right, the reason we're doing this is because it's a more compact data format. So even though we don't need this unless we're doing population, that would still convert over. Keep you for a little bit. Actually, it's been a long time. I should checkpoint these. It's been way the heck too long. Oh, I was thinking of encoding some of these death reasons, but I can treat those as a separate pass. Also, it might be lunchtime. Actually, this is kind of consequence of this. If I keep converting these, I might want to do the helper method for that. And unfortunately, that's it for now. I'm getting hungry. That's when I'm usually on. Thanks for all the subscribers. I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. At least at this point, the app is functional, so I can continue like local testing when I'm doing my own stuff. Of course, I'm also hot in the trail of Stephanitis, so we'll see. Bye-bye.